gonna say good morning. That's how out of it I am. Good afternoon. Good evening. I'm in a little pain, so forgive me for being just a smidge on the slow side today. Hey, quiet. And I lock the screen. Tell you where I'm at. Okay. Oh my gosh. We are on day 2 of our first fruit fast, and I'm so stoked to be here. I'm tired, but stoked to be here. I had a doctor's appointment today, and it's supposed to be, I don't know, I guess maybe like, this was supposed to be like the appointment before they're like, yep, you can go back to work. But they beat me up so bad. He's like, come back next week too, so I can see you. And I was like, well, not next week, in 2 weeks. It's just like, y'all know how much I hate going to the doctor. Absolutely not a fan. Not like a big recommend going to the doctor. So, of course, go when something is wrong with you, right? Go when you don't feel well. But for me, I'm trying to figure out if I could do something at home. I'm trying to, like, do all the things, like checking all of the boxes. So when I have to go, it's just like, no, you really need to go, Tricia. You really need to go to the doctor. So I don't want to see the doctor any extra times. For full context, I've been pregnant for like 5 ever. I got 5 kids. I've been at the hospital a lot of times. I've seen doctors far too many times in my adult life. Okay, so here we are. Let's get this party started. Let me know where you're watching from. Oh my gosh. I went to the doctor. I came home. I knocked out. And then I looked at the clock and almost passed out because I thought that I was late. I'm a little late, like by a couple minutes, but not too late, thankfully. So, we're here. We are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are on day 2 of the first fruit fast. So, I pray that you are doing well and that you have um, gotten through day 1 okay. I'm not gonna lie. It was rough. I think just because I'm still in recovery mode and there's a lot going on. Whew, I said, Lord, what's happening? I don't know what's happening in that living room, but clearly my kids are having fun. Anywho, today we are here, day 2. We're going to talk about some things. How the Lord gave it to me was, let me see. I'm trying to make sure I get it right. Colliding with destiny is what we're calling today. Colliding with destiny. So if you are taking notes, I hope that you are. Absolutely. We're talking about colliding with destiny. Had to get the right Bible. And we are going back to the book of Ruth. If you are a person that does Bible study with me, I'm going to be doing those again really, really soon. I found out that I was going to have surgery, and I had surgery, and so now I'm recovering. So I'm just like slowly but surely, I was offloading things, and now I'm bringing things back to my schedule. So colliding with destiny is what we're calling today, and I love you. Okay.
You want popcorn or like popcorn shrimp or just fried shrimp?
You can do popcorn. But I can't eat it. But yeah, still make it. You can't eat it? No. It's fine. Just make it. I'm live, so it's cool. Um, my babies are trying to help me, and I so appreciate that. All right, so with this fast, we are at the halfway point of the year, and I told you all that the Lord was telling me that we need to have a posture of prayer. So you need to be praying, so that way people don't prey on you, Prey, okay? And so, um, where we normally fast the first 3 days of the month, I am extending the offer for you to pray and seek the Lord during the next 2 days and see if you are one of the people that should be fasting for the rest of the month. Hello, y'all. Y'all heard me rambling about surgery this whole time. I'm one of those people that will be fasting for the rest of the month. So the first 3 days we are doing no meats at all, no sugar, just fruits and vegetables, that sort of thing. Like you're eating like a vegetarian. So like you can have a carb if you need to sustain yourself, like that sort of thing. But don't just be like eating on carbs, going crazy, that sort of thing. I mean, hello, fasting is always about moderation anyway. So seek the Lord, but the whole point is to combat gluttony. And so we are at the halfway point of the year, and this is where I am big on doing. That door don't drive me crazy because everybody's not even in yet. So if y'all hear my door locking automatically, I so apologize. But we're at the halfway point of the year, and so I just kept hearing shot clock. Like you need to do a time check, and I'm always looking at time. I know. It's funny people laugh at me, but I'm always checking time. I'm always setting goals for like the month and the year and all that stuff. And so this is the halfway point of the year, and this is really where we need to get to a space where we're looking at what we have undone this year. I hope you've been undoing some things. We've been talking about getting rid of idols, laying down idols, letting go of people and things that no longer serve us, that are standing in the way of becoming who God has called us to be. So that has been like the course of the work that we've been doing all this year. And so now we're at a turning point, and it's really, really important for us to get to a space where we are be- building. And not only are we building, we're rebuilding, because a lot of us have built things, but we haven't built them in the name of the Lord. A lot of us have built things, but they have shaky structure. So we're going to be rebuilding. And when we look at the story of Ruth, she had built a life. It wasn't necessarily that anything was wrong with her life, but she ended up having to rebuild after her husband and her children, her sons, passed away, and she was left with her. Um, Naomi was left with her two daughters-in-law. Okay, and we did a Bible study on this if you need some context, but I wanted to go back here because the Lord was just telling me we are in a space and in a season at the second half of the year where we are colliding with destiny. And the great thing about colliding with destiny is, I'm always praying for destiny intersections. I'm always praying for, the right people to come alongside. If you're an entrepreneur, you're always praying for your team, right? Doing ministry, I do literally all of this by myself with the help of my husband. So, it's great to give suggestions, but you could give a helping hand because, baby, I'm doing it all. Okay. So, colliding with destiny is one of those things where the things that you need to do and accomplish in your spiritual walk for your journey. You're gonna meet some people in the second half of the year to help you along the way. If you're meeting me, I am Tricia, Ask to BJ, the Purpose Doula. I help to bring you into your destiny. I help you to birth your destiny. I call it at this point a purpose mastery architect because I'm a builder by nature. So I'm always going to be talking about building something. I'm always going to be talking about strategizing something. So if you are just now encountering me, I'm probably here to help you build the other half of your destiny for this year, okay? Like set up the structure, the infrastructure, and that sort of thing. So I want you to go to chapter 3 of Ruth, and we are going to just read the first few chapters and jump around a little bit from there. Okay, so then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, should I not seek rest for you, that it may be well with you? Is it not Boaz, our relative, with whose young women you were? See, he is winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor. Wash therefore and anoint yourself, and put on your cloak, and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. But when he lies down, observe the place where he lies. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down, and he will tell you what to do." And she replied, "All that you say I will do." So Naomi is giving Ruth this set of instructions to basically help set her up for success now that she is a widow like her mother-in-law. And Ruth is submitted, okay? She is truly submitted to the cause. She is all about obeying her mother-in-law. Ruth was not a person of faith to start. She was a pagan worshiper, but just marrying into this family, she changed a lot of her ways, and so she didn't want to go back to her old ways. Once her husband passed away, she wanted to stay with her mother, even though they were um, living in a place that wasn't home. Even though they were, she was getting ready to go back to she was getting ready to go back to Naomi's home. So there was a lot of uncertainty there, and she was just so committed to the cause. She was so committed to this new life and this new faith. She said, "Wherever you go, I'm going to go. Wherever you stay, I'm going to stay. Like, I'm doing what you do." She was literally being mentored by her mother in law, okay? So, verse 6, well, we can stop there because I feel like that's good enough. I feel like that's good enough to set the scene for where I want to be. And so Naomi was giving Ruth the playbook for security through marriage, okay? Now, you might not be married, and that's totally fine. God is giving you the playbook for security through being a part of the bride of Christ here in this second half of the year. So I pray that you are literally praying. I pray that you are taking this fast seriously. You got the email. I gave you a plethora of just points for the year. Since we're at the halfway mark, I gave you the points that we have been praying all this year. So I didn't change the points because the points are still very, very important. Okay, they're very, very important because I'm going to keep saying it. Y'all going to hear me keep saying it. I don't talk about politics, but you're going to hear me keep saying that this is an election year. It's very, very important. Go out the other door, please. Do not do it. Goodbye. Go that way. I'm recording. Children, love them. You're going to hear me keep talking about election year and what you need to be doing for that. Those prayer points are already in the email. So if you're not getting emails, you need to sign up at cbj.com. Let me know. Just sign up in the little thing that comes down or at the top of the page, and we'll get you situated with that. But yes, you need to have prayer points that are a game changer because this is the season that can turn your life around. And so because you are colliding with destiny, there is a lot of destiny alignment that comes. You see, I said colliding, like there is going to be some friction. It's not going to be all sunshine and roses. So I don't want you to be scared when you see certain things happen. Don't get caught up in this world. We don't even live. We're in this world. We're not of this world. So we don't get caught up in the things that happen around our need. I'm saying this because I need you just to be deeply rooted in your word. When you're deeply rooted in your word, when you're deeply rooted in your praying, you know God will give you provision. He'll show you the things that he needs to show you. He's going to tell you the things that he needs to tell you. And so with that collision, boom, really it's a shaking. The shaking is happening. It's happening now. So that's why you're getting this collision. It's going to shake things up. It's going to take things away that shouldn't be there. It's going to only the righteous remnant will remain. Only what is pure and good and what God wants you to have are the things that are going to remain after this collision with destiny. Okay, and so Naomi gave Ruth the playbook and she sent her over to the threshing floor. What is a threshing floor, you might ask? Let's talk about it. Let's go to a threshing floor. I want to give a definition because I don't think that we look into what words mean. And just for my work, we always say words are important because I work in communication. So words matter. When you're reading the Bible, words matter. So pay attention to the words. And so this is why I believe the Lord had me to say this is a collision, colliding with destiny, because it's going to really divinely align the things in your life, the people, the places. Some of y'all gonna move. Some of y'all are going to move because you need to be divinely aligned and in the right zone for this next season to come. So when we look up what a threshing floor is in scripture, it is a place of separation and revelation. Okay, this is a place where the harvest was prepared by separating the grain from the useless straw for the purpose of exposing and collecting the most valuable part of the crop. Okay, now to drive that point home, I want to roll right on over to Matthew chapter 13. And then we will sit at Matthew. We're going to sit at the feet of the Lord in Matthew for the rest of the time that we have together. So Matthew chapter 13. Let me know when you get there. If you're watching live, type live. If you're watching replay, type replay, of course. And so while I am getting there, I'm here. Where y'all at? Y'all at Matthew chapter 13. We're going to go to the parable of the weeds, which is verse 24 through 30. And I'm going to read that, and then we will do a little bit of excavating. And then I'll let y'all go, I promise. And so, verse 24, he put another parable before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, oh, that hurt. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so where was I? Because that sneeze took me out the game. But when his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed seeds among the wheat and went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, the weeds appeared also. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have weeds? How then does it have weeds? He said to them, an enemy has done that. So the servant said to him, then do you want us to go and gather them? But he said, no, lest in gathering the weeds, you root up the wheat along with them. Let them both grow together until the harvest, and at harvest time, I will tell the reapers, gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. I mean, it's rich. It's a lot going on there, okay? Now, to give you a visual, usually what I see when I look at it, going to the threshing floor, there's a sharecropper that takes the wheat or the barley or whatever it is, and they kind of like just throw it into the air. So they take the harvest, they throw it into the air, and the wind does the work. The wind does the work. Just hear that. Throw it up in the air and the wind does the work, okay? And so you'll see that although they're on this threshing floor, um, the separation happens. There's this separation that happens. And so the harvest goes to one side automatically just from throwing it up in the wind, catch it. And then the weeds literally fall to the other side. Just like that. I know it sounds really simple, but it's spiritual for sure. Okay? And so the wheat is to be saved in the barn. We see, what does he say in the scripture? Gather the weeds and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. I think that oftentimes we don't realize when there's all this craziness happening, there's a collision with destiny happening in your life. And so it's really, really good to be around sound people that can call the signs of the time. They're able to recognize the seasons, because otherwise you think it's one thing and it's something totally different. And this is why it's really, really important for you to be able to understand and know times and seasons. This is why it's important for you to be able to see what's happening in the spirit realm. So right now, we are in a place of separation and revelation. You're going to see this from now until the end of the year. With it being election season, it's election season in the spirit realm, and it's election season in the natural realm. So sometimes you have to pay attention if you are a son or daughter of Issachar. You have to pay attention when you are a watchman or woman, okay? Because when you are paying attention to the signs and the times as a communicator, I look at headlines. I don't watch the news, okay? Listen to me. I don't watch the news because you know why. But I do keep, my little, I keep all of them. So CNN, Fox 2, you name them, I'm looking at headlines for them all. Just so I can pray. Just so I can know what's happening in the natural realm and pray. Because then I need to see, Lord, what's happening in the spirit realm for all of these things to be happening. So we're on the threshing floor. Okay, we're on the threshing floor and it's election season. So it's election season in the natural realm, but it's also election season in the spiritual realm. So I don't know about y'all, but the Lord has definitely been talking to me about promotions. You need to get into leadership at work. Those sort of things are going to be happening. There are going to be people, I'm talking about you, you all are the people that are going to be getting promoted. There are going to be new positions that the Lord wants you to be in because this is a election season. Okay, and so this is why one of the prayer points is for people to get in their right place. You need to be on the right mountain, whether that mountain is the arts or government or education or finances. Like we need believers in all of the mountains. And so it's very, very important that you heed the Lord and in doing the things that he's telling you to do in this season. Okay. So, I'll give you a precursor. I told you this is a building season for us. We're going to be studying Nehemiah for morning manna on Sunday. And we're going to be there as long as the Lord needs us to be there. We're just going to break it down line upon line. We'll go precept upon precept, little by little, because for the rest of this year, you need to be building. You need to be establishing things because there is this election season that's happening. There is this promotion that's happening. And so, give me a second. Babe, I'm live. Is everything okay? Yes. God bless America. So, I don't know what I was saying, but I just thought everything. John knows. He knows I go live. So, let me make sure everything is good. Make sure you answer the phone for your spouse. Okay. Do that. Do that. They need that. They need that. Seriously. And so, with it being election season in the natural and in the spiritual realm, pay attention. It's okay if you're shifting. I got people that are shifting, going from fintech to auto, going from you know, administration to data. Shift. God is electing you. You're being chosen to go into these areas for a reason. Be on your post. This is why this collision, and that's why I use colliding with destiny. This collision, this impact, it's very important. Let's look up collision because I can't stop saying it. Okay. I got an instance of one moving object or a person striking violently against another. The example that they gave was a mid-air collision between two aircrafts. Be careful on the aircrafts right now because y'all seen Boeing in the news. The planes are not built very well, so be prayerful. Obviously, still travel, but be prayerful, be mindful, be flexible because God may have you move, change your flight, be delayed, go home early, that sort of thing while you're traveling. Pay attention. But the second definition is an event or two or more recordings being assigned at the same time, being assigned the same identifier or location in memory. So this is for computing. I really like the first one better, I'm not gonna lie. But because I'm a Merriam-Webster girl, let's go there. An act or instance of colliding, a clash, an encounter between two particles, such as an atom or molecules, resulting in exchange or transformation of energy. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So, with this collision, which we're calling this a shaking. If you're listening to other prophetic voices, you know, I've been saying for years, the shift is coming. The shift is here. We're shaking. We're shaking. The shaking is happening now. And so there is an encounter between two particles, the natural and the spiritual. We're colliding. It's resulting in an exchange or transformation of energy. Okay? And so this transformation of energy is your revelation. Okay? Because we're on the threshing floor. This is your place. And I just want to keep saying it because I need you to make sure that you get it down in your heart. We are in a place where there is separation and revelation happening during this election season. You're colliding with destiny for this reason. You were made for such a time as this. Okay? Don't doubt yourself. Don't be afraid to make the changes. I literally just had to talk to one of my leaders. Like, we've been praying for all of these things, right? Why wouldn't you take the position that the Lord is literally giving to you? Because we're praying. We've been praying for you about these things. Why not? So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Be ye not afraid. I don't know how many different ways to say it. But this is definitely going to be one of those seasons where scare money don't make money. So don't be afraid to make a move. You have to listen to the Lord and follow through with whatever it is that He's telling you to do. Okay? And so let's just talk about the threshing floor with this parable of weeds. So when we talk about the enemy sowing weeds, right? He's sowing these weeds that they didn't know about. This is sabotage. This is sabotage. Like, he's trying to take your business out. He's trying to take you out in some instances, right? The enemy's here to steal, kill, and destroy, right? But John 10:10, God came and gave us Jesus so that way he could give us life, but also life more abundantly. This is why we are not moved by the things that we see in the news and in the timelines. Okay, these things God gives us to pray about. He gives us these things to pray about. And if you understand the posture of prayer, you really can turn things around with prayer. So I need you to really be on your face. Okay? So the weeds, we have to wait. We have to wait until the weed matures just like the wheat, because otherwise, if we kill the weeds, then the wheat would not be able to grow to its full capacity, and we would lose out on the harvest. A farmer would not do that. We just sowed all this seed so that way in harvest season we could reap, and it can sustain us and go into our barn. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we are clear on that, because we don't want to tear down our wheat with the tares, right? You wait until harvest season. So now it's harvest season. We're having this collision. These things are happening. It's harvest season. And so now you're seeing the separation of things occur. When the separation occurs, it should be harvest season. That's where we see the great parting, right? That's where we see the line of demarcation coming. That's where we see the choosing of the sides is clear. After the November election, the choosing of the sides will be clear. You will know what people stand for, right? So the same thing in this instance. You will know where people stand. Are they for Christ or are they for the world? You're going to see that all across the board just in this season, okay? And so I really want just to encourage you, because God is such a good God that he called himself the sower. He gives seed to the sower, right? God gives seed to his true believers in the field, and we're all over the world, and he's given us seed, okay? So this word is a seed, because I was asleep. I got little notes. I just listened to the Lord. I hate not having notes. And he was like, yeah, but you know about the threshing floor. You know about Ruth, and I need you to tie the threads between the two. Yes, sir. Absolutely, I could do that. And so here we are. I like to, make sure that I am as prepared as possible. I thought I was gonna be taking time off to recover. He was like, "We don't have time for that. Yes, you rest and recover, but you read the word all the time. So, come on. So in this parable, we know that the enemy is Satan, because God is the sower. Jesus is the sower. Okay, so Christ is the person that's the sower. He's giving seed to the sower. The enemy is Satan. Okay. So he is the person that is in direct opposition to the sower, Jesus Christ. The devil always tries to destroy the works of Christ. He always tries to destroy the works of believers. And so oftentimes you see false believers, right? This is why a lot of people are like, I get a lot of agnostic people. Did you see the face I made? Because that's really what they look like. I see it all the time. So I get a lot of agnostic people around that I get to sow seeds into, because they've seen people take the gospel and try and just pimp people and use it for their gain, and not to really do what the word says to do. They've seen too many mega churches. I've sat in mega churches where we're crying and we know to play a certain tempo of music to get people emotional enough to give. Like, that's deception. And so I'm never gonna beg you to give. I always pray, like, Lord, just make sure my business is good, because I'll take care of whatever needs we need to be taken care of for the ministry, because it's in my heart to make sure that we're good. And I want to be in a space to where I'm not. This is why you see a lot of mega churches, I'm not gonna give names, but this is why we see a lot of mega churches where when you have big givers, they feel like they can tell you what you need to preach about. When has the sheep ever told the shepherd what to do? That's crazy. That just doesn't even make sense, right? Like, the congregation is the sheep, the pastor is the shepherd, but because I'm giving and I give a big amount, I don't really want you to talk about homosexuality. I don't want you to do that. I don't really want you to talk about fornication. And these pastors and bishops and people are listening because they are afraid to let the money go. They have made money and this lifestyle an idol instead of just preaching the truth, which is what we are called to do. So all my family and friends that have gone to seminary, they're like, yeah, they pretty much just train us to, get ready for becoming a mega church. Really, very disappointing. So the enemy is Satan, right? And Jesus is the sower in this instance. And the enemy is placing the weeds where the wheat is while the sower is not around. And so this is where we see false believers and teachers being placed to lead people astray. This is why you have to be in the Word. I'm telling you, when you get saved, it's just good to be in a Bible-based teaching place. Okay, you need to be in a church that is a Bible-based teaching place. Stay away from the motivational speakers. You really don't need all of the lights and the fogs and the theatrics and the drama and the theater shows, the musicals. All that's really not needed. The gospel is pure and simple. It's nice, but how you catch people is how they really want you to keep it that way. So I've always been very conscious of that, because when you see people like, I'm not going to name names, but people that are, this person is a devil worshiper, and you shouldn't listen to this music because of this person and how it is, and you got to stay that way. The audience that you gain, that's what they want. They don't want you to transition from that. So, I think having donuts and coffee and those sort of things at church is great, because I'm just thinking, like, guess what? That might be the only thing some people will eat. But if you can't afford it, that's fine. Just give the gospel, pure and simple. That's all you need to do. Don't get distracted by those things, okay? We already have so many other weeds and distractions here. So I don't want you to get distracted by those things. Just do the things that you need to do, okay? Because what we need is to make sure that we are being, I'm trying to find the right word. I'm finding it. I'm finding it. We need to make sure that we are being mature believers, because we have innocent believers that are just coming into the fold, and immature believers that they just don't know. And so they go into these different places. And we got, people that are, I was just telling John, he was watching the video, and I was like, don't do that. He's a warlock. We ain't watching him. Scroll. Swipe. Like, you can just see it on him. He's a warlock. Immature and baby believers, they wouldn't know those things. This is why it's very, 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 very important for you to get into this word. And because of the way humans are, I need you to read more than one version. Trust but verify everything, right? Read more than one version so you can have the full picture of what it is that God is trying to tell us. Ooh. I'm in pain. Oh, well, that was not fun. Whew, okay. I'm only 13 days post surgery, so to be fair, I'm gonna be back in a bed after this. God, it hurt. All right, so this is why we don't uproot the weed, because we have to make sure that the believer is sound before we uproot. I'm sorry, this is why we don't uproot the weeds. We have to make sure that the believer is sound, because we have to take into account not only mature believers, we have to take into account immature believers. So you baby Christian, you're still drinking milk, you just don't know any better. And then we have to take into account immature believers. Okay, you just don't know any better yet. And this is why you read the word. When you start reading the word, I'm telling you, I would be sitting in service like, that's out of context. That's not how that's supposed to be. That's not what he meant there. That's not what he meant there. And hello, I'm communication, so I'm always on the media team, and they would look back at me because I don't have a poker face. So I'm just like, why would you say that? And then try and clean it up if they caught me. Like, I'm glad that I could be that person to, help you stay accountable. But jeez. So, Jesus is right now establishing true righteousness, okay? And so he's in the process of doing these things during these growth stages. And so now we're at this growth stage of harvesting, okay? And so I want to make sure that you are clear that we are to be excellent. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 13, verse 5 real quick. I'm going to read it from the ESV version. Examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Or do you not realize this is about yourselves, that Jesus Christ is in you, unless you indeed fail to meet the test? Yeah. Don't think just because you go to church you're a good person. You got to walk the talk. And so, going back to the agnostic piece, I get a lot of atheists and agnostic people, and they're like, I really don't mess with that, but I respect what you're doing because I know that, and I see that you're trying to do it the right way. Wheat and tares, sow the seeds, okay? And so, here we are in a time where there are a lot of people that are professing to know him. They're professing to know Jesus. They're professing to be his leaders. They're professing to be believers of him. And the fruit just ain't matching. Okay? When you inspecting, you should be inspecting everybody. Okay? You should be inspecting everybody. The fruit just ain't matching. Yes, people are going to be human. Absolutely. Allow people the space to be human. Okay? Everybody's not going to be all quiet. I hate that. I'm not a super quiet. I'm an introvert, but I'm not quiet. I'm not a super meek person. I am meek when it comes to what it is that the Lord is telling me to do, but I'm just not like one that's just like, when you say something, I'm going to say thank you. I'm not going down. I am an excellent person because this word told me to be excellent. So I'm always studying. I'm a forever student. I'm always in a Bible class. I'm always getting some education, whether it's for my work, for my business, or for the ministry, because I believe in personal development. So when a person compliments that, it's not puffing up my head. I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to say thank you, okay? Because I put in the work. Faith without works is dead. So I need you to just to get into that space. Oh, I am in pain. So, let me wrap us up because, baby, I don't know what's happening here, but I'll need some medicine. And so, with this, the tears, let's just get back to it. I want you to really understand where we are on the threshing floor, okay? The threshing floor is the place of separation for you, okay? And so, wheat is collected in several stages. It's collected in several stages, okay? And the great thing about it is that from that harvest, we separate, and I'm telling you, when you watch a video, it's beautiful. And maybe I'll try and find a video to show the cover girls, literally. The sharecropper is on the threshing floor, and he's just throwing it, and the wind does the work. What's the wind, y'all? I want y'all to tell me what the wind is. Study that and tell me what the wind is a symbol of, okay? But the wind does the separating. Once the two collide in the air, the wind does the separating. And it's reduced to a small pile of what do you call it? Chaff, CHAFF, so chaff, and then grain. It's a line of demarcation happening. Okay, the line is being drawn in the sand, and so the chaff, that stuff is going to be burned away. What happens when fire comes into place? It's going to burn everything that is not pure. When you look at I talked about it in this book, The Rejuvenation Process. You can get it on my website still. I think that's the only place that you'll be able to find it. But all of the impurities and those sort of things are coming out with the fire. And what that process, whew, it hurts. And so then what's left is pure, the pure gold, the pure silver. And so here we are going through all of these things because check this out. Once the weeds, which turns into chaff, is is separated and then it's burned into the fire, then we place the grain in the barn. The barn is, guess what? The storehouse. This is where we're storing up things for the future. I hope y'all are storing up your water. I hope y'all are storing up your beans. I hope y'all are storing up your water. Hope y'all getting walkie-talkies and all the things. Because you just need to have a storehouse. That's wisdom. I pray that you're taking care of your storehouse. But the grain is placed in the storehouse so that way you can make bread in the future. I pray we don't have to use, I don't want to eat no white rice and beans. I'm not going to even lie to you. When you pay attention back in the day, they wasn't eating too much. Okay? They're eating a lot of bread. Okay? So this whole process of the threshing floor, this separation that's happening, and so we can make sure that the storehouse is filled with the right things. I keep telling you, winter is coming. You need to make sure you are storing. Okay, you need to store. So the whole point of being on the threshing floor is because you're going through processing. Everybody's got to get processed. This is where you need to make sure that you are who you say you are. You believe what you say you do. I don't know about you, but I made a decision a long time ago. I don't have no other choice. I don't follow the ways of my family. Love them, but I don't live like that. And I knew I couldn't a long time ago. I don't have any other choice but to follow the Lord. I don't have no other choice. I made that decision a long time ago. And so here we are, where people are being processed. You're going through the process. God's going to be supernaturally getting you set up for success. There are going to be promotions in play because you need to be processed. You need to be positioned and you need to be processed, okay? And so that's why this election season is very important, because it's not just a natural election season. It's a spiritual one, but the processing, okay? The things that you need to be building, the books that you need to be writing, that's building. That's building. You need to be building a better body for yourself. You need to be as healthy as you can be. That's building. You need to be reading your word every day. I challenged you to do, if you're not big on reading your word, getting your daily bread, you need to be reading a proverb a day from July 1st to July 31st. That's a chapter a day, plus whatever else the Lord is telling you to read. So if you're a true seeker, you're reading a proverb a day. You're reading Romans 7 this week. So right now you're reading Romans, 2? No, I'm sorry. You're reading Proverbs 2 and Romans 7. Day 2. That's what you'll be doing. All this week you'll be reading Romans 7, just meditating on that. And then the next day you'll be reading Proverbs 3, Romans 7, and then whatever else the Lord is talking to you about. So if you trying to get your finances right, you'll be reading Romans 7, Proverbs 3 on the 3rd, and then finances. Something about finances, you find it. But you're being processed, okay? And so you are being processed so you can get promoted. Happy elevation season. Because when you get promoted, there are certain things that you have to be able to do, right? You're going to learn those things. There are certain things that you can't do. You don't hang around certain people when you get promoted. Nope. Now, when they're bad for business, when you don't do that, same for you. I love music. Absolutely love music. You don't catch me in no clubs. It's not a fan. It's not good energy there. It's usually very low vibrational. Very low vibrational. You can't do that. You can't look like other people. Be different. gotta be different. So I pray that as you are colliding with destiny, that as you are literally being called to the floor, and God is pulling you and calling you, getting ready to elect you, right, for certain things, you're going to answer and let go of the things. Let go of the shaft, let go of the wheat. I'm sorry, keep the wheat. Let go of the weeds. Let go of the shaft, let go of the weeds. The people, places, things that no longer serve you. I promise it'll be good for you. So, I'm going to get off this phone because I am in pain. I don't know what's happening here. But God is good. So I pray this blessed you. We're on day 2 of the fast. Heading into day 3 after this video goes live. Keep praying. Ask the Lord what it is that you need to be building. Ask the Lord what things are being called to the floor as your wheat and what things are being called to the floor as your shaft. Okay? Be prepared to let go of all of your idols. Some people make marriage an idol. Some people stay in marriages because what other people think. I've seen it. I just seen it. Just big anniversary number. They ain't even do nothing. Ain't even celebrate together. But you wouldn't know that on social media. All the big posts, all the things. Don't let things be your idol. Because what did God say? He'll have no other God but him. So happy colliding. The shaking is here. Only the things that are for God and from God will last. And I hope that that blesses you real good. Drop in the comments that you are ready. You're ready for this collision with destiny. We're getting called to the threshing floor, and we are trusting God in the process still. All right, I love you. I will talk with y'all tomorrow, and I'll send out the email first thing in the morning. Y'all be safe. Okay, bye.